Hello, welcome to Frank's School. Uh, I've had quite a long pause here, and I decided I better explain what's going on at Frank's School. So, what's going on at Frank's School? Fifth year, 127th day. I'll aim at 180 days and then call it the end of the year. Who knows? That'll probably, it might be December before I get there. I'm taking my time. But anyway, this pause. Well, why the pause? Well, a couple things. The goats they're quite a job. I got these goats. I have now 10. Uh, and I got these goats before I was really ready. I'm still not really ready. But in any case, they've been a job. The big, dangerous billy goat, the buck, I found a new home for him. I gave him away, and he's has other does now, and he's in the care of a man who knows his goats much better than I do. Uh, he had injured a little doe before, in the breeding and all, and she's a steady worry because her hip is quite seriously injured. So the goats are occupy me a good bit. I haven't been the healthiest, between my heart going fast, and then what shingles? I think it was shingles, and one thing after another. It's hard when what I'm doing this year is almost like an athletic event. And summers get so busy when everything grows. You get kind of overwhelmed by everything. So those are sort of my excuses. I was delighted the other morning when my apprentice came back. I guess I'll still call him a boy, but he's a high school senior now, and I hadn't seen him all summer. He was busy. So that's the way summers are. But he hasn't lost his enthusiasm at all for learning and what I have to teach, and he still wants to go and study in college sustainability. So that was fascinating. That cheered me up some. All right. Anyway, I want to revisit this video. I think it was 125. What happens to Frank's School after I'm not here anymore? What happens to all this? I want to revisit it with a part two, because I can be a little bit more optimistic as well as I was. Those ideas that I offered, I think, were valuable, but so much about how do you decommission all this stuff that I've been doing. But anyway, I'm going to revisit that soon. There's three things I want to tell you. That's one. There's lots of developments on Camp Ranch campus, this farm, if you will. Lots of developments, which once I get into it, the videos are going to come maybe 5 or so pretty fast to show the developments I've been doing with the fencing, so much out of pallets, with the buildings. I had told my apprentice, his name's Matthew, last year about this time that I was going to build 7 of these huts, and that he might be interested in seeing how I'm going to go about doing it. Well, that was last year. Now, by my recent count, there are around, I've started around 25. It may push 30 that I've started this year. My goal really is only to get them about fence height. Now, some of them are 4 by 4, and I shouldn't even call them a hut, I suppose, 16 square feet. And the largest are 96 square feet, 8 by 12. So I've started a lot of them, and I really think I've got my act together on them now. I know where I'm going with them. Anyway, there's lots of developments, but I'm also spending a lot of my time, I say, chasing old problems, buildings that were or even still are in some danger of falling down, roofs that need to be patched before the winter comes. Quite aside from building new stuff, I've got a lot of places that I have to go around and shore things up before the winter comes. So there'll be lots of videos there. And Europe. I'm very seriously thinking about going to Europe again in March of 2017. March is an odd month to travel to Europe, but it's also an inexpensive month to travel to Europe. And I think, I'm getting old enough and the whole health thing, had me worried. Can I even really do that? Is that a good idea? But I have a friend who is about my age, and I'll tell more about him. He is very interested in going along. He's better educated than I am. He's smarter than I am. He speaks Portuguese fluently. Lived actually in the same town in Brazil for 2 years where I lived. And he's interested in going along, and that makes such a difference. But anyway, I'm going to describe that trip in detail, I think, before the event. Because, for one thing, I would welcome anybody who wanted to come along for part of it, and I think that's very doable. I think it's going to be called Portugal and the Alps, and I don't want to get into it too much right now. But even if I didn't manage to make the trip, or just decided no, it's not a good idea, I still want to get a record of the trip that could be made, because in my mind I think I have, at least for my purposes, the perfect 10 or 12-day Europe trip for somebody. If they weren't going to do it the Rick Steves way, or if they weren't going to just try to hit all the real big cities, but actually just wanted to see Portugal and the Alps, I have a real good route, and so that'll be fun. And I'm going to describe it, as I say, in detail. That could end up being, I don't know, 10 or 15 videos. All right, so that's what's going on. Bye for now.